Hello everyone, what's up? Prince 12 here with another video review. Today I'm reviewing Transformers The Last Night Premiere Edition Voyager Hound. But before we take a look at Hound, let's take a look at the box. So it's your typical Transformers The Last Night box, except this one's larger because it's a Voyager. So here we have Hound on the front. It says Transformers along the side. It is a Premiere Edition. There's a nice big Autobot logo in there. It says he's Autobot Hound because you can't just market something with Hound. It's from Transformers The Last Night. It's ages 8 and up. Of course, that's just a suggestion. They have to put that on there. It's from Hasbro. There's the Autobot symbol along the side, which is kind of split in half, so it looks a bit odd. He's a Voyager class in several different languages. More continued Hound on the side. It says Transformers along the side here. Here, on this side, you get a picture of Hound and see that he is a munitions expert in different languages. And then on the back, you can see Hound and everything he does. And then there's Megatron, which you can also buy if you can find him. And he converts in 21 steps. Don't eat the toy. That's not a good idea. And that's it for the box. So, here is Hound. Goodness gracious. Was he hard to find? I'll get into all that later. But I am really glad I finally have this guy. So, let's get in close here on his head sculpt. He has a really nice head sculpt. Where I picked him up, they had 3 of them, and the coloring of the beard was different in all of them. It really does kind of depend on how much black paint they put there on the beard, and this one had the most. So, it's a nice head sculpt, and one of the cool things you can do is remove his helmet. So, there he is. You can have him. It's kind of a softish, hardish rubber. I mean, it's not a bendable rubber, but it's still kind of made of soft rubber. So you can throw it at his enemies. Just put it back on his head there. There's a lot of nice molded details here on this guy. I mean, just look at all that right there. A lot of nice molded details. Same with the legs. A lot of nice molded details in here. I mean, overall, he looks really, really fantastic overall. I love the way this guy looks. So one thing about this guy that I don't like, there's very few things I do not like about him, is that the wheel feet do kind of, because they're wheels, they do kind of tend to move one way or the other. Now, for transformation, these, obvious front of the car things do peg in right here, which stops them from moving around that much. But they do kind of come out easy, and then it's just all willy-nilly. So, but they do stick there pretty easy, so you won't have too much of the foot movement going on. So that's a good thing. So he does come with 4 weapons, which is a serious downgrade from last time. He comes with these 2 things, which I'm not really sure what they are, and these 2 things, which are machine gun type weapons. And then what you can do is that for storage in vehicle mode, or even in robot mode if you want to give him a big backpack, you have this thing. Now this obviously isn't a gun, but what you can do is you can take these and start, okay, let's flip that over, and start attaching them here as you wish. So then let's take off this, have that, put that there we go, and then do the same for the other side. Like so. Now one of these doesn't go in as far as the other one, so they're a little uneven. So then there we have a big turret backpack thing, and then you can put that right there on his back, and so now he's free to do whatever. So yeah, there is Hound. I really like him. Let's get into some size comparisons. So here is Hound from 2014, his Age of Extinction version. This Hound is a good size taller, as you can see. And he's obviously a different green color. I think I like the green on this guy better, but I think overall he may be the better figure. But so you can see how they look together. Let's scoot them down to the side. And just for kicks, here is Dark of the Moon Voyager Prime. So you can see how they look together. So they all look pretty good together. So yeah. So that's pretty much it for the size comparisons. Now, one other thing about his robot mode is that Hound is supposed to come with all these weapons. I mean, look at all. I mean, this Hound came with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guns and a knife. 7 guns and a knife. Holy cow, is that a lot of firepower? This Hound comes with 4. That's not much. Mostly because this backpack here that they gave him for the toy was based off of concept art, where this vehicle mode would have like a big turret in the back. That ended up not appearing in the film, and he instead got cover for the flatbed of the truck. So that's why this toy comes with that instead of more of these. But never fear, is that they knew that a lot of people would probably want to give this guy, that guy as weapons. So they made it possible. As you can see, there are holes everywhere. There are little ports all over his body. And then especially in the back, there are 5, count them 5, just right here. I think there was a count online. There are 23 different places to put weapons on this guy. I'll have the image with the quote up here, right here. So that's a lot of places. So let's start putting this guy's weapons on this guy. Now, first, let's start off with the little ankle guns that this Hound had. So these go right here on this Hound. Not so much on this guy, but right here, he does have specially molded little areas for these to go in. So as you can see, that kind of just fits right in there, just like that. So that's pretty cool. The only thing is that they do have a tendency to pop off very easy. I don't know if that's just on mine or what, but they do fit right in there. So that's pretty cool. So now let's go with the knife. Now this is going to be the configuration I like most. You can set it up however you like. I like to put my knife right here on his ankle, because unfortunately there's not a tab to put it there on his chest like on the other Hound. So that's unfortunate. So now I'll move on to his little grenade launchers. Now on the other Hound, there's a little tab that you could slide that into, and then that way it would fit. There's not one of those on this Hound, but there are still these ports. So, see, just popped off one of the blasters. So there are these ports along the legs here. Because the knife is in this one on the other side, I like to put these more up here. Now, this one on mine, it just doesn't fit that well, so that may just be the hole is a little bigger than it should be, or the tab on mine is a little smaller than it should be. That's just a personal toy thing, and that may not be the same for every figure. So let's see, these do. I probably shouldn't have started with these because they like to pop out so easy, so I'll just leave them off and put them back on again. I mean, you saw what it was like, so because of all the stuff that you have to do here, it's probably easier to do those last. So now, let's move on to Hound's shotguns. So here are his shotguns. I always had them kind of folded up like that because I could never, because they're supposed to go all the way in, but I could never get them back out. It was always a pain. So what I like to do here is that there are these here, but they just kind of slide in. They're not very secure, so I like to put my shotguns right in here, maybe. If they want to go. Okay, yeah, there we go. Let's grab the other one. Just pop that out. And there we go. Now he has his shotguns. Let's put his little ankle guns back in. Nice and snug and secure, just like that. And then there is only one thing left to give him, the great big Gatling gun. Let's take that and move Age of Extinction Hound off to the side. He is relieved of it. And give this hound all of his stuff. And so there we have a fully armored hound with all of Age of Extinction Hound's stuff. That's pretty cool. I love seeing him with all of this gear on him. That's awesome. And this is totally how he should look with all of these weapons just hanging off of him. So great. Now, of course, you can put them on different places if you like, but that's what I like to do with my hound, so this is how he's going to be displayed. So that's pretty awesome. So now let's get down to transformation, and doing so, of course, requires removal of all these things. So you can just take them all off and set them to the side, because now and that's the thing, is that they'll hang on in robot mode, but depending on the transformation and everything, there are some ports that will be covered up, so you can't exactly hang them on during the transformation or in vehicle mode. So now this can remain on during transformation, but I like to remove it anyway just because it's easier that way. Okay, so now here's Hound. We're ready to be transforming him. So first, you're gonna fold up the wheels like so. And this is the thing I really like about this figure, is that the transformation is awesome. So then you bend these back like so, and then that gives you room to fold that up. And then you kind of have to, so there you go, just like that. Do the same over here. It just slides in right there, and then these will turn like that, and then of course probably helps if, and then just fold them back into the wheel well, and then these slide forward, and then these fold back. It's not exactly a snapping sound as they go in place, but as you can see where they go, so there you go. And then you can just click that together like so. I really love the way the legs transform. That's awesome. It's nice and compact and easy. That's so great. So now we yank up on Hound here, and then you do have to kind of make sure he's pulled all the way, almost to the point where it feels like you're going to rip him in half, just to, but not, it's like to where it feels like it, but when you know that he's not going to fall apart, because he has to be up as far as he's going to go, or else the transformation isn't exactly going to work. So, and then this will remain like this in vehicle mode, but it does help for transformation if you kind of let it hang like that. So now what we want to do is push Hound's head in like that, and then just flip this down and push it in a little bit, and then so there's Hound's head disguised. Now we move on to the arms. The arms are a bit tricky because of these bullet rockets, what even want to call them, here hanging on the arm. So what you want to do is pull that open like that, and then the hand will flip all the way around. Like so. It should be going in there. What the heck? There we go. Okay, just took a little fiddling. And then it'll go all the way in there and look like that. So now we do the same on this arm. Just flip that all the way in like that, and there we go. So now this is where things get a little trickier. The instructions say, because of transformation and everything, you kind of lose sight of where those are supposed to go. So really what is best is to pull this down here. Now this is kind of a feature that he shares with his 2014 model. So then with this down, you can kind of see how this needs to work. So that needs to be flipped over like so, and then the bullets, and then this is the weird thing, is that these especially feel like they don't want to move anywhere, and it almost feels like you need to forcefully move them to a position where it feels like they're gonna pop off. And that's something I don't like. Because how this is gonna work is that these should be going, okay, there we go. So, trying to get it in its place here. Okay, there we go. So that's what it needs to look like, is the arm needs to be rotated around like this. The bullets then need to show up underneath there, and then the arm needs to go like this. It just takes a little arranging and a little hard work. So then you're gonna push this in here, and this is where it pays to see. There we go. I yanked it a little bit more, and now it's gonna want to all fit. So it helps if that's pulled back like that, and then you should be able to just kind of, except now the bullet's moved. I really wish these bullets were more of a rubber piece. It's the one time I've kind of wished they were a rubber piece. So you just kind of gotta get them in under there, underneath that little piece with the nail, and then you can tab it in right now, but you have to do the other side, so it's best not to at the moment. Alright, so we got one side, now we gotta work on the other. So, same thing, pretty much. You gotta pull that down, rotate the arm back, move the bullets to the underside somehow, and have it positioned up. So, let's see how this being moved kind of helps with transformation. So, then we kind of do the same thing, make sure, and it is kind of a pushing act here. You kind of have to, it feels like you're forcing some things, even though that's how the transformation is supposed to go. And see, it's not quite wanting to go in there completely, maybe. Okay, there we go. Well, let's see now. There we go. Okay. So now they'll close in a little bit more. So now you can tab those together like so, and then tab them in to the top of the truck there. And then everything is all nice and closed in. And then this, if at this point you still having it hanging down, you just collapse it back up there, and then that makes more of the truck. So now comes this part, and this is kind of like the arms. You just kind of have to fiddle with it until everything looks right. So when these are up in robot mode, see, as you can see, here's the robot mode chest and everything. These are going to be up, and the tabs on the arms are just going to kind of keep them in place. Once those are removed, then they kind of start flopping about like so. So the way these work is that you, and see, that feels like you're breaking it too. But of course that's just part of it. So then these just kind of flip around like so until they end up right there. Flip around like so until you can tab them into place, and you kind of have to push. Again, there's a lot of pushing and stuff on this one. All right, there we go. And there we have Hound in his truck mode. We can take his great big turret here and add it in there, and then there we have the Last Night Hound in his vehicle mode. As far as vehicle modes go, I really like this. It's not really accurate to the film, considering there's a big turret here and there's not the closed part of the truck, but as I said earlier, you know, this was based off the concept art that had the big turret. So, what else are you going to do? So, he rolls pretty well. I think he's one of the better rolling figures that I've got from this line. They've had sticky wheels or something pretty much all the way. Like Barricade and Berserker rolled a little bit. So here's kind of the 360 one. Nice detail I do like is that he does have crossed out Decepticon symbols, which designate his kill count. That's cool. And it is the exact same on either side. So, one thing about this is that originally there's supposed to be like a little Autobot Red Cross symbol right there, and then on the same place on the other side and on his helmet. But that ended up getting pulled for some reason. So as you can see here, there's no Red Cross symbol there, And there's not one on the box either. But yet he still has it in the movie. So there's not really a known reason why Hasbro pulled that sticker off of there when it somehow still remained in the movie, but who knows. So he's got a little bit of robot mode just kind of sitting there. You can see the gun belt arms just kind of sitting there in vehicle mode, but oh well. And he does kind of have a odd looking truck bed there, but it's a military truck. I suppose you can kind of look past it. So let's move this off to the side and get down to size comparisons. So here is Hound from Age of Extinction. This Hound is much bigger, as you can see. But in terms of length, actually, looking at that, miraculously, they both kind of sit up very well. Actually, I don't know why I keep saying that. The Last Night Hound is actually longer as well. So that's very nice. Let's move them kind of to the side. And here is Dark of the Moon Optimus. There, I finally get to say the words Dark of the Moon. So there they all are together. They look pretty good together. They look like a nice group of Autobots, even though this is the same person. So, yeah, let's move Optimus out of the way and talk a little bit about the comparison between these two. I don't know which one I like better. Because when I started transforming this guy, and I did that whole leg construction, I was like, oh, I love this leg construction. This is way better than Age of Extinction Hound. But then I got to the arms and stuff, and saw that I really had to force it. And the instructions weren't really that much of a help, because the things are so small, not really that detailed. So I actually had to look up a video to make sure I was doing everything right. And so I just had to see that I had to kind of force things, and I don't really like the fact that I have to force things, because it always feels like I'm going to break it, even though I know I'm not, because that's just the way it is. This Hound, you don't have to force anything. Everything kind of comes together very easily and nicely, and I'm still amazed at the way that they managed to get everything to fold up. But at the same time, this guy's got the better robot mode, I think. He looks... Because I still like this Hound. I still really like this Hound. I think this is a great first attempt. It's just that for this guy, his robot mode is so much better because they were able to improve on what they had here and really give him the kind of fat ballerina look. And, I mean, the fact that they included all those weapon ports to store the weapons from this guy, that is awesome. So, I don't know which one I like between the two. I may just have to go with this one. Just because there are improvements, even if you do have to force the transformation a little bit. So, yeah. And then there's not really a place to store a lot of these guns out here. As I said, there's these 5 ports right here, but then there's not really. Well, and then there's ports there and on the same side there. But I mean, that's not really going to hold this thing anywhere. That's not really going to fit well like this fits well on the side. So I don't know. So yeah, that's pretty much for the comparison. I would definitely recommend this figure. I really like it. I really think he's cool. But it's just a matter of finding him. And that's the thing that I'm going to talk about now that I said I'd talk about at the beginning. So the Last Night figures have been hard to find after Wave 1 of the Deluxes and the Voyagers. Grimlock is a major shelf warmer, and it's really been hard to find anything Voyager Wave 2 or Deluxe Wave 2 related. For some reason, they have not gotten a wide release like they were supposed to have gotten a long time ago. So finding Voyager Hound and Voyager Megatron is very hard unless you just find them on the internet. Like in stock on Hasbro.com or something. Even the retailer websites like Toys R Us or something don't always have them in stock, and even when they do, they might be upped in price a little bit. I managed to finally find mine at one of my local Walmarts after a long time of searching. It was a wonder I managed to. It's just a big old Easter egg hunt. So if you want this guy or Voyager Megatron, I really wish you luck in that endeavor because they're not out everywhere, which is odd, even though they're supposed to be. So it's just a luck of the draw, hope you can find them thing. So Yeah. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Remember to follow me on Twitter. That link is in the description below. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.